said it's an abstract experience. Well, that sounds to be a very blurred conception, and as uninteresting, really, as abstract art. Why isn't it better to have an experience which is related to the actual world we live in?
Why not try?
Yeah, well, this is the point.
It'd be very interesting.
Could I make this point, John? I mean, the thing is that in the last resort, people can talk about meditation until they're pie-eyed at you, as if you're a public meeting on television. And in fact, we won't convince you or anybody else at all. It's just simply something you have got to try. I cannot tell you what a strawberry tastes like. In the last resort, if you want to know what a strawberry is like, eat it. You may like it at the end of it, or you may not.
But it doesn't give the strawberry some translucent, mystical...
Look, well, speak for yourself. I adore strawberries. I mean, frankly, they're one of the most delicious things in the world. But, I mean, let's get on a sidetrack.
Yes. Let's get on to your restaurant.
No, but the point is this. The point is this, John, if I just finish, is the reason that all of us who practice meditation feel it's so important for people to know about is because you do come to a state where you can find total serenity, total peace. And this is desperately what the world is needing.
There are many, many ways of achieving total serenity.
How do you do it? Only one, for goodness sake.
I never have had it.
Well, why don't you try it then?
I don't honestly know whether it's something that I'm particularly interested in. You can achieve total serenity by going mad. You can achieve marvelous serenity by going to sleep. What one has got to decide is whether the serenity which you're seeking is A, of practical value to the world, and B, particularly enjoyable to yourself. You say it's enjoyable, we don't know.
No, don't worry about whether I personally enjoy it. It's totally irrelevant. Do you believe there is such a thing as evil and sin in the world? Nastiness.
Well, that's a question which I don't know to cope with on the moment.
Something unpleasant.
I certainly believe there are very many unpleasant things in the world, yes.
Now, I believe it is true to say that all sin is fear-motivated. I believe fear is the central enemy of mankind, whether it's neuroticism, whether it's actual active, aggressive evil, doesn't matter what it is. Fear, fear, fear. This is our heritage. I think for original sin, you can read original fear. Now, paradoxically, society for countless generations have been trying to fight fear with more fear. Fear of hellfire and damnation. Fear of what society will say, what people will say. Fear of the hell, of the cat, fear of the gallows, fear of prison, fear of this, fear of that, piling fear upon fear upon fear. It's not surprising that, in fact, society is in a ghastly, terrible state. Now, where the Bible says, perfect love casteth out fear, this is just what we're talking about. To arrive at a state of peace, of serenity, of joy inside yourself. You are no longer afraid, therefore you're able to give out love to other people.
Nobody's going to argue that it's not a good thing to cast out fear. Nobody's going to try and pretend it's not a good thing to love people and have goodwill as much as possible. The only thing that I'm venturing to question is whether the pursuit of your own serenity is the best path towards achieving all these excellent
Well,
results.
if you're happy, you're more likely to make other people happy. That's all it is, you know.
Not necessarily.
But why?
I could imagine a very happy husband giving his family absolute hell.
Well, he's not really happy then. No, I'm talking about true happiness.
That's very easy.
How would you
Well, as
put true
opposed to happiness from a bottle of whiskey and happiness from going in there.
Isn't
Well,
that
the same again?
a difference of words? A bottle of whiskey, I would say, gives us pleasure, gives us something transient. If I drink it, somebody else cannot drink it. But an experience of joy, even the experience of a poem or of a music, of contemplation of nature, we all can have it. And therefore, that higher experience, we call it joy, is the joy, and that joy grows higher and higher until we can find a joy in the very center of our souls, the joy of being and the joy of love. If for a moment we all have this feeling of love now, here, universal love, the millions or thousands of people who hear us would feel it.
Yes, but what
They
is
would
a
feel it
feeling?
now.
What is
They
a
will feel
feeling?
it.
Right.
And they will be one
This
with
is
us.
it,
and
you
we
see,
will be
it's
one
all-
with them.
It's vibrations that people give off. I mean, if somebody's happy, then he gives off a good vibration, as opposed to being annoyed, he'll give off a bad vibration. It's something like that. If you get a lot of people, like when we first went to Bangor, we met all these meditators. And it's so obvious just by seeing the people, because they give off this peace and happiness. And that's the thing, the more people who do it, the more the vibration, and that's the influence for everybody else. The bigger the vibration, the more people receive it, and the more the other people will believe it.
You see, there were a lot of Christian saints who spent their time nude up in convents, carefully cultivating their inner sincerity and grooming the perfection of their own souls. And there were other saints, I suppose, who went out into the world and tried to improve a lot of other people. And I think you simply have to choose which you admire the most.
But sometimes
this
you
is
don't.
an eat it scene, John. This is literally a cake and eat it scene.
Yeah.
I agree with you that there have been techniques, and there probably still are techniques, of people withdrawing totally from the world and living in a cave or sitting on the top of a pillar and doing absolutely nothing at all, apparently doing nothing at all. Maybe they feel wonderful, and then quite validly you say, what good do they do? Now, all Maharshis come to do in the West is to teach every single one of us.
Look out, Charlie. Look out, yeah.
Ah, the end of the world.
About irritating.
That's, yes.
It's a miracle.
No, it's someone who's just drunk a bottle of whiskey.
Sure, this is cosmic consciousness at work, obviously. No, what was I saying?
You're not expected to remember.
You're not expected.
No, this whole point is that it is a technique whereby somebody, whatever you're doing, or maybe frightfully busy, you just meditate for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half an hour, twice a day, and you come back slap bang on with very much more energy to get on and do things.
But this
There
is
is
being
an
talked
increase
about
of
as though this
energy.
is something new. Is this?
Yes.
Are you claiming this is
No,
something?
no,
Why not at all?
no, it's the oldest thing
It's
going.
older than time.
That
Yes.
you are expressing in a new way something that has been with us all the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and it'll always be here.
But it has to be rediscovered from time to time,
Yes.
because our society, as it goes on, overlays it with materialistic concerns. We build a nice structure for ourselves, we're getting at the money, we're building ourselves a nice career, and we're kicking other people in the teeth while we're doing it.
And then you go
Continually, we have to
I mean, I
rediscover
think the
a true
thing
depth
that
to yourself.
the thing that people were concerned about after Friday's thing was that this meditation, while it may do something for the individual, was not also concerned with the other 50% stopping us or other people kicking each other in the teeth. Now, today it's clear that the way John Allison, George and John see this thing, it equally then reacts on the way you live and the way you behave and the way you care about other people. But I don't think it is the meditation that does that, is it?
Right.
It's that we're rather fortunate to have three exponents here who do care. You could be an exponent and not give a damn, couldn't you?
No.
What you've just said is that...
You
No, it
can't
would
find
be
your way
Not
towards
a matter at all. You see, one thing that hasn't been said, that state of pure consciousness, which what attention is led to in meditation, is the same in everybody. Come to that state, this is union with the whole creation. Having established that in the mind, you come out and act. Little by little, as you go on, year after year meditating, more and more and more of that comes out. So in the midst of your dynamic, frenzied activity, that is not overshadowed, and that becomes automatically expressed by your action.
Then you're back on a mystic faith in a universal consciousness.
Right,
aren't
one
you?
last question, because...
Mystic
You're
all the
the mystic
time. You know,
man.
there's nothing mystic about mystic. You know, it's just a word
thought
that
that's
people
what
have
he-
invented
All right,
because they don't
mysterious.
understand it.
But all right then, John, what is then the difference, would you say, between John Lennon before meditation and John Lennon after a few weeks of meditation?
Well, before I wouldn't have been here. I've got more energy and more happiness. I don't know about intelligence. I'm just happier. You know, I'm just a better person. And I wasn't bad before.
I'll second that.
Thank you, George. Thank you.
And that, there, with personal testimony, is where we must leave it. Until tomorrow night, good night.